So you want to know what the best cloud gaming service is. You've got your money ready and you're happy to slap it down in front of the company that I and others say is best. Well, hang fire there, sport. Let's instead find the one that best suits you. Let's get some non-starters out of the way. This is SoraStream. It's expensive, impossible to know what games are available with it before paying for access, and plays with high latency. Games that can be accessed on a 7-day free trial are niche or low quality, which then doesn't inspire confidence in the rest of the catalogue. Overall, it's just too obtuse in forward-facing information to be considered. This is Nware. It's gone, so is definitely a non-starter. People are still stating that this is active though, so don't be pulled into wasting your time with a defunct platform. And bear in mind that Vortex and Stadia are also in this defunct category. This is Loudplay. It's a pay-as-you-go cloud gaming platform with different pricing for different access platforms. And these aren't transferable. If you play around an hour per day, the cost of this service is excruciatingly high, and you can get better service for a similar or lower outlay elsewhere in this video. Moving on to talk about possible options for you, there are what I would say are two main subcategories of cloud gaming: the PC player options and the console player options. Let's start with the PC options. Many of these fall into the category of bring your own games. This means that titles you have purchased from PC digital storefronts such as Steam, Epic Games, Good Old Games & Co. can be used with these services depending on compatibility and licensing. Shadow PC is the most comprehensive option because it gives you a full cloud PC. This means you aren't constrained to solely gaming with Shadow. If you have an aging PC or laptop, Shadow can breathe a lot of life into your existing hardware. It acts exactly like a PC as you know it once you've logged in. You can use your existing peripherals with minimal noticeable latency and perform any action that local hardware can perform. This means full compatibility for every game on every PC storefront. You want to play an ancient game with upscaling features like Might and Magic 7? Shadow will allow that. Fancy some Skyrim with mods? Shadow will allow that. Lethal Company, Baltaro, Golfit, or even PC Google Play games? Shadow will allow that. It even allows you to play PC VR titles in all of their glory, something that no other cloud gaming option will offer. So what's the catch with Shadow? Well, they offer 10 different services with costs ranging from £9.99 per month through to £76.99 per month, meaning it could be a bit confusing and very expensive. These options are well outlined on their site. However, there is some massive crossover and even duplication in certain offers such as the Gaming Boost tier and the Pro Standard tier. Most, however, are easy to understand in terms of offering, price, and value to the individual. This does unfortunately mean that if you want usable cloud gaming performance, the absolute minimum that you are paying is £29.99 per month for either the aforementioned Boost or Standard tier. As the Pro Standard comes with additional SSD storage space for the same price as Boost, and all other stats are identical, I personally don't see why you would go for Boost at any point. Pro Standard offers more at the same price, so you go with that as a minimum. The annual cost for use of Shadow on the Pro Standard or Gaming Boost tier is £359.88. Yes, you could buy a new laptop for that price, but the specs of said new hardware will not match up to the offering of Shadow. Of course, after 2, 3 or even 4 years, that conversation changes, but as you need it or a get out of jail option, Shadow has the least amount of additional work involved to actually use it and play games, and it also gives you the rest of the PC to utilise at other times. Next, we have a standout in the PC cloud gaming space, and that is Utomic. Unlike Shadow and the offerings yet to be mentioned, Utomic does not require you to go and buy your games elsewhere to be able to play them on their subscription service. No. More akin to the console counterparts, Utomic offers an inclusive library for their fee, and that library is over 1,400 games strong. There are some stellar offerings in their library with newer releases such as Tin Hearts to phenomenal split-screen co-op experiences like Biped, and absolute bangers from yesteryear such as Saints Row the Third. there seem to be options for everyone on Utomic. With the top tier offering giving access for 4 people, simultaneously, from anywhere in the world, and only costing £10.99 per month, it also undercuts every other option in this video on price. So what's the drawback on this one? While they do boast over 1,400 games, only 347 of those are available on the cloud. The rest you have access to if you download them natively on your PC, which, if you're looking at these services to bolster an aging and underperforming device, kind of defeats the point of the exercise. This likely won't be a problem though, as over half of the available 1,440 game library classifies as casual or indie, and many of the others have so much age to them that even the most basic of gaming PCs from anywhere in the last 10 years can run them. Utomic do put their full game library on their site, however, something many others on this list do not, so you can peruse their offerings before signing up and see if the selection will actually be a good one for you. With 3 pricing tiers ranging from £5.99 per month for a personal account through to £10.99 per month for a family account, there is some serious value to be had here by the right person or group. I strongly recommend checking their library out before making a decision though. We now come on to 2 very similar products, both of which signed deals with Xbox in 2023, both of which come with similar provisos and caveats, and both of which tend to dominate the PC cloud gaming conversation. So let's start with Boosteroid. Boosteroid is a Ukrainian cloud gaming service partnered with Asus for hardware and server support. This service offers a bring-your-own-games platform whereby they provide a cloud PC build for you to play your own library upon via a custom user interface. They offer 1080p 60fps visuals on any device or browser, all for €9.99 per month. Pretty rosy sales pitch, that one. So are there any drawbacks to Boosteroid? Well, compatibility is a big one. Unlike Shadow, you cannot play just any of your games on Boosteroid. They have to be officially supported on the service. This is great if things like the Steam version of Gears 5 is in your library, but not so great if you have the Microsoft Store version of the same game. Party games like Golf It and Garry's Mod aren't available on Boosteroid, and you will find occasions whereby parts of a series of games are available, and others are not. This isn't too great a challenge, as you can check the compatible games library prior to paying for the service. However, to do so, you need to create a full Boosteroid account, which feels like artificial stat inflation when they claim 20 million accounts. I mean, how many of those are just to look at what's available? There are some additional challenges with input devices and available bit rates through different access routes. But with games like Destiny 2, Palworld, Baldur's Gate 3 and Lethal Company available on launch day, with timely updates to boot, Boosteroid can remain quite up to date and fully relevant to the user. The monthly cost is lower than many competitors too. Only offering their pricing in euros means you get the actual currency conversion rather than a corporate conversion when signing up, making that €9.99 equate to under £9 for me rather than the £9.99 it would be from other providers, which is a lovely bonus even if it should be the norm. With wide input availability covering everything from keyboard and mouse to basically any controller on the planet, and device support that allows everything from phones to Chromecasts and even some fridges to work, Boosteroid can easily slip into basically any gamer life if it supports the games that you want to play. GeForce Now is a very similar prospect. As with Boosteroid, it is a bring-your-own-games platform offering a cloud PC build with a custom user interface. As with Boosteroid, it has compatibility challenges. And as with Boosteroid, it can be accessed through many different routes with many different input methods and gain licensing to many of the industry's largest titles on launch day. Different to Boosteroid, however, is the hardware performance and customer offering. GeForce Now offers 3 tiers of access with different performance on each. The base tier is an advert-supported tier, offering 1080p visuals at 60 frames per second. The top tier is a monthly subscription, offering up to 4K visuals, up to 240 frames per second, ray tracing and PCIe Gen 4 loading speeds. With costs ranging from free access if you watch 2 minutes of adverts, through to £20 per month for ultimate access, there should be an option for every sort of PC gamer here. So, other than that compatibility thing, as with Boosteroid, are there any challenges? Well, shady business practices come to the fore when discussing GeForce Now, unfortunately. For 3 months recently, December 2023 through February 2024, you could not buy a monthly subscription at all. GeForce Now claimed they were sold out of server space, but you could readily buy the much more expensive 6-month subscription for the same tier of access that uses the same servers. Something doesn't add up there. In that same period, they also launched a Day Pass, which was nearly the same price as monthly access, which again, you couldn't purchase at the time. All feels a little too coincidental to not be pre-planned. The advert-supported free tier is a brand new addition. GeForce Now are now asking people to spend their valuable time watching adverts before they can then play, something they did not do for the free tier for over half a decade previously. The Ultimate tier is made up of their underperforming and poorly reviewed 4080 graphics cards rather than their best on the market offering. And while they do boast compatibility for over 1,500 games, that number is less than 1% of the Steam, Epic and Ubisoft Store libraries that the service connects to. But in the positive section, the user interface has had a drastically required overhaul in the last 12 months to be much more user-friendly. I am yet to find a controller that the service does not work with. I mean, even the Stadia controller works. Automatic scaling to the screen that you are playing on makes the gameplay experience that bit easier than native hardware, and despite that incredibly low compatibility figure, I can always find something that I want to play. If of course I haven't been logged out of all of the connected services once again. GeForce Now is by far the most well-funded and supported PC cloud gaming service on the market. For many, that means it is a near automatic pick. But with a free tier, you can always try before you buy. And that is your rundown of the PC options. All will offer a PC gaming experience. Whether that is one that suits you is down to the available library, compatibility, price, and of course performance in your circumstance. So a little bit of further deep dive on each will be required before taking the plunge, but you should at least have an idea of which one you want to look at first. We now move on to the console options. These are quite a different prospect, not just to the PC services that we have just looked at, but to one another as well. Take Switch for example. Switch's cloud gaming is probably the best in terms of ecosystem implementation. This in turn, however, makes it the hardest to quantify against the competition. You see, like nothing else on this list, there is never a subscription fee to access cloud gaming on Switch. Nintendo offer cloud gaming on a game-by-game basis. Essentially, if the title cannot run on the Switch's hardware natively, they'll offer the title via cloud gaming. This implementation is seamless to the ecosystem. Just buy the game and stream it. No special launch page, no special user interface, and no additional outlay. It sounds great. So what's the catch? Well, there are a few to run through here. First, this can only be accessed on a Nintendo Switch. It doesn't open up access to other devices like many of the other options. Second, unless you have a Switch OLED dock or an additional accessory for older docks, you're only ever accessing these titles over Wi-Fi, which wouldn't be too much of a challenge on a new phone, but the Switch is limited to connections of 60 megabits per second maximum. They're often lower than that, simply due to the old chipset powering the Switch. Third, if you move to a country that doesn't support cloud gaming, you will lose access to that game that you have paid for, with no recourse for a refund. With that being said, being able to play things like Resident Evil Village, the Hitman Trilogy, Control Ultimate Edition, and more on the Switch, without the massive compromises made in releases like The Witcher 3, and that we wouldn't get without cloud gaming, is amazing. The fact that there is no subscription fee is incredibly liberating, and as it is used to just give the system more legs, not as an additional sell, it feels far less egregious than other options. The seamless access that mirrors that of a digital or cartridge game is the most user-friendly option on the list. Add in that nearly all of the cloud games have demos available for free, means you can try each one out before parting with any cash. A simple yet effective approach to cloud gaming. Xbox, on the other hand, do not follow the path that Switch have laid out. They instead opt for a Netflix buffet style of approach. This means that you pay a monthly premium to Xbox to access a library of cloud titles. They're only available via the Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription at £13 per month. For this price, you get access via web browsers, iOS, Android, PC, and TV applications. You can also use the service on Xbox One or Xbox Series consoles to access their circa 400 cloud games. The library is in constant flux. Games are added and removed on a semi-regular basis depending on agreements and licenses. This means some months the service will grow and others it will shrink. At the point of writing in March 2024, there are 413 games available via Xbox Cloud. Offering release day access to Xbox first-party studios titles and select third-party titles on nearly any screen makes the service a very tempting proposition. Why pay $70 for that game when you can spend $17 instead for the same experience? Like all services in this video though, there are caveats to these amazing points. For starters, Game Pass Ultimate. This is the most expensive version of the Game Pass service, and the only way to access the cloud. Console and PC gamers get options to lower the cost by removing cloud and the other option. But there's no option for just a cloud subscription, so you are often paying over the odds to use just one aspect of their all-inclusive service. Many games are trying to keep you playing for 150 hours or more nowadays. For the average gamer, who plays between 6 and 9 hours per week, this means you are regularly paying over the odds to play it via Game Pass. It would be cheaper to just buy the game outright, and that maths means you're also missing out on all of the other games on the service. But it is a cheap and easy point of entry into the Xbox ecosystem, allowing you to experience what they have to offer on devices that you already own. For those who can blast through games in a month or two, the cost of Game Pass gives them more games for less money, even if they are only 1 to 5% of the market. Probably most importantly though, it offers a try-before-you-buy option for Xbox-compatible hardware. Consoles and PCs aren't cheap investments, and taking that leap with no prior knowledge of the games can be quite daunting. Xbox Cloud Gaming allows a user to try the Xbox ecosystem out before laying larger sums of money down. PlayStation is different yet again, but also very familiar. Akin to Xbox Cloud, you need to pay a subscription fee to access PlayStation's cloud gaming service. This costs either £13.99 per month or £119.99 per year. Also akin to Xbox is the inclusive library for that cost. Here though, there are over 800 or 1200 games depending on your access platform. Akin to Switch, purchased digital titles not included within that inclusive catalogue can be accessed via the cloud. Different to Switch, however, is that you need to buy the game and subscribe to PlayStation Plus Premium to be able to do that, and it is only available on the PlayStation 5. The service can be accessed on PlayStation 5 consoles running at up to 4K visuals and 60 frames per second, with all DualSense feedback included. It also works on PlayStation 4 systems and Windows PCs, though not for PlayStation 5 games. On PS4 and PC, you get 1080p visuals at up to 60 frames per second, depending on the title. Now, I've already covered some caveats in the description of the service, with limits on streaming capability on different devices and available platforms. But are there any more? Desktop users have to have a Windows PC. So all of these professionals who have invested in Macs over the years to further their careers cannot access PlayStation Cloud Gaming unless they have additional compatible hardware in the house. Playing of purchased games isn't possible if you bought the game physically, which is a crying shame for titles like The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered and God of War Ragnarok, that take up a huge amount of space on your internal storage. Supported devices have actually shrunk over the years. PlayStation Now, as the cloud service used to be known, was available on Blu-ray players, PlayStation Vita and PlayStation TV, PlayStation 3, smart TVs, and more at launch in 2013. But in 2024, it's only available on PlayStation 4, 5, and Windows. However, PlayStation's cloud gaming feels more like a complement to the ecosystem than a standalone, look what we can offer you option. More like what Switch does than Xbox. It can save SSD space when games like Final Fantasy VII Rebirth are 147 gigabytes in size, and prevent those waits for games to update when all you want to do is play. With PlayStation Studios titles such as Ghost of Tsushima, The Last of Us, Horizon, Uncharted, Spider-Man, and more included in the price, you're getting a wealth of Game of the Year nominated and winning exclusives as part of the deal. The combination of being able to play your purchased digital titles and have access to a large curated library from every PlayStation console generation gives both modern and historic value to the service. Being able to get a discount for buying in bulk is only emulated by GeForce Now and Boosteroid elsewhere in this list. And even though this is limited in access platforms, the additional bonuses to the PlayStation Cloud player, such as cloud saves with automatic transfer, online play, and Sony Core Movies, to name but a few, can be accessed by any subscriber. These final two console-like options are a bit more niche. They aren't from console platform holders, so they operate as a third-party service. They are newcomers to the space, so don't really have exclusive offerings and definitely will not appeal to everybody. But there is an audience for them. From the corporate behemoth of Amazon, we have Luna. Luna is a subscription cloud platform. You cannot buy games outside of Ubisoft titles, and they're offered through Ubisoft's own service, Ubisoft Plus, via a Luna plugin. Their service offers around 120 games in a rotating library for £8.99 per month. If you are an existing Amazon Prime member, you get access to a monthly rotating selection of 4 games, plus access to Fortnite and Ubisoft titles that you own via Ubisoft Connect at no additional charge to yourself. You can add further channels, as Luna calls them, to increase your game library with Jackbox Party games at £4.99 per month and Ubisoft Plus at £14.99 per month. The service is available on Android, PC, Mac, browsers, and certain smart televisions, alongside Amazon Fire TV products. So what goes against this offering? Well, Luna has the smallest library on this list, not even breaking 200 titles with all of the channels included. So arguably, there is better value to be had elsewhere. As of writing, you can only access Luna in the US, Canada, UK, Germany, France, Italy, and Spain. That's 7 countries only, and it's been on the market since 2020. The games offered, while generally good quality, all have a bit of age to them. Luna are still touting Control Ultimate Edition and Devil May Cry 5 as their marquee titles, both of which are 2019 releases, so 5 years old at this point. Much of the rest of the library is years older than even these two. Oh, and titles from Amazon's own game studios are not available to play on the Luna platform. Desktop native apps were discontinued in 2023, and the slow rollout to many more countries hasn't brought many publishers into the fold. But the streamed visuals are super crisp. While only rendering at 1080p, you'd never know you weren't looking at a higher level picture. Frames are locked at 60 across the board, regardless of title, and Amazon do offer a Wi-Fi Direct controller to communicate directly with the Amazon servers and eliminate lag, though Bluetooth will still work and is officially supported. At a cheap price point too, Luna is positioned well to entice lapsed gamers back into the hobby. But how long that could last for them is down to the individual. Finally then, we have Blacknut, which is a bit of an oddball one. It is a subscription-only service at £12.99 per month. For that price, you get a library of 500 games, access on pretty much any smart device, 5 profiles for that price, and parental controls that can be activated upon them. Whilst they do boast much newer titles than Luna, such as Super Crazy Rhythm Castle from 2023, there are few to no heavy hitters here. Don't get me wrong, Star Wars The Force Unleashed 2 is a great action game, but it's not exactly current. Nor is MotoGP 2019, or Metro Exodus, or Rise, Son of Rome. The website doesn't offer a comprehensive list of included games either, and with many that they do mention, like Plumber World or Asphalt 9, you quickly realise that many of the offered games are upscaled mobile titles that are available for free on other platforms. Seemingly built primarily for families with younger children though, Blacknut has curated a game library to suit that target audience, with a few options for parents as well. Allowing multiple accounts on the one access fee is also really user-friendly, and can be shared, drastically lowering the access cost. A definite consideration for the family gamer. You'll notice that I haven't spoken about the performance of any of these services beyond their own marketing spiel. The reason for that is while I can offer you an objective view of my personal experiences with these services, that won't necessarily translate to your experiences. As an example, a friend of mine lives 2 streets away. We have the exact same internet package with fibre to the home. So, same speeds, same Ethernet and Wi-Fi tech, even the same junction box. Barring the house, our access is identical. But we have vastly different cloud gaming experiences. Mine is usable, his is terrible. And even then it is a service-by-service scenario. Boosteroid and Luna are unusable for me. Their lag, latency, and choppy visuals making gaming impossible in my situation. But Shadow and PlayStation Plus are perfect. I won't comment further on performance in this video, because my experiences bear no impact upon yours. Many of the services mentioned today have a free trial option, so you can test how those services work for you with zero financial risk. GeForce Now, Luna, Utomic, PlayStation, Switch, and Xbox all offer free trial options or demos in one way, shape, or form. Boosteroid, Shadow, and Blacknut, however, do not. But with introductory pricing offers, they do offer a lower risk month to try them out. By now then, you should have an idea of which one of these services most appeals to yourself. Your next steps are to go and try it and see if it actually does work for you, and then report back with a comment when you've found out what does. But before that, if you want more information on some of these services, here are some of my in-depth reviews of them, and a playlist with all of my cloud gaming content in. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching, and until next time folks, have yourselves a fantastic day, and take care.